Welcome back for another video of Jori Sports Stories. Of course, I'm Jori, and today we're doing a weekly roundup, and we have a lot to talk about. I have a lot to talk about. So on the docket, we'll just go down the docket, and then we'll just get right into it. I know I've been not consistent. Life has been lifing, to say the least, but we're going to get the ball back rolling, and I am back. Period. Just in time for the Lakers to make the play-in. But we'll talk about that. That is one of the things I did want to talk about. But we'll talk about that in just a second. I'm going to get into these topics. We're going to get right into the get down. Well, we're going to talk about injuries and all that. I do have some choice words for certain people. But it is what it is. Stefon Diggs and the Bills had a trade. We're going to talk about, again, my Lakers. We're going to talk about the Bucks. We're going to talk about the whole revolution coming of Jesus moment that the AFC South is having right now. And we're going to talk about NBA contenders or pretenders for the title this year. So, let's get straight into it. First thing I did want to talk about is Stefon Diggs and the Buffalo Bills. I know the Angel Reese thing, that's probably going to get me into rant mode. We'll get into that in just a second. So, the way I had it, let me get to see if I had anything different. Yeah, no. But the thing about the whole Stefon Diggs, okay. Anyway, excuse Bella. She wants to make an appearance. She's not coming in here. But when we're talking about Stefon Diggs, don't start. Shut up. Stefon Diggs and the Buffalo Bills. Excuse me. I am a dog parent. If you can hear them, you can tell I'm a dog parent. I'm a fur mama. They hear something. I don't know what's going on. Excuse that. Stefon Diggs and the Buffalo Bills. It's a good thing for both sides, if we're going to be completely honest. She finna go to the deck and bark too. I have a chihuahua. She does chihuahua things. Anyway, so Stefon Diggs, Buffalo Bills. Good thing for both sides. The Bills, once the whole writing on the wall thing for me with the Bills is like, once they figured out that they could win without him, it was a wrap for him in Buffalo. And he knew it. And that's why we have the cryptic tweets. They got tired of him pouting and showing up Josh Allen and then throwing some BS to the media to expect us to believe it like we were born last night. That's not we. Like the media's born last night. The public, that's what I'm talking about. That does get tiring. The Twitter antics, cryptic stuff, comments. I will say this, it was simply not worth keeping him around anymore. I guess. Because they took a $31 million cap hit to get rid of him. Yeah, it just wasn't worth it anymore. He was going to end up being a detriment, probably going to end up being a detriment to the team the way the Bills looked at it. But that trade made us really realize is that we were right all along. There was a clear, hard to hide rift between Diggs and Allen, and it had simply became unrepairable. Now, they don't really have the cash to sign free agents. They must look towards the draft to improve that wide receiver room, which right now is headline. Well, they did sign someone. They did get Curtis Samuel and Matt Collins. Scratch that previous statement. That was inaccurate. They got about $4 more million, but they still got to sign that draft class. So there's that. headlined by Khalil Shakir, which we saw him start to bloom into what we know he could be. Curtis Samuel, if he could stay healthy with Josh Allen, could be something that could be something solid. Mac Hollins, Jordan Shorter, and I'm missing 2 names, but I'll remember those later maybe. But y'all know who I'm talking about. Now, for Stefon and for the Houston Texans. If you hear paper, I have my notes in front of me because I need them in front of me. Houston has had an A+ off season so far, and I will get into that. We will get right into that. This move does give a young stud in the making in CJ Stroud another weapon. Like, okay. Houston also voided the other 3 years of his contract so that at the end of this year, if he plays well enough, he can renegotiate for a long-term deal in Houston or elsewhere. They gave a dog a bone. He just got to go take it. Like, period. He should thrive. They are building a very good team. They are building a contender in Houston. I'm a Titans fan, and I'm definitely... That was bothering me. I'm sorry. But, and I'm definitely aware of what they're doing. But, here's the thing. He should thrive. Stefon Diggs should not have a reason to be a malcontent in Houston. And Houston really can't afford to have a malcontent with a young quarterback like CJ Stroud. So I really hope this works out for him. I think it was a good thing for both. He needed to get away from Josh Allen in Buffalo, and he was put in a very good situation with a very top 5-ish quarterback already. Next, let's get into the meat and potatoes of today. Well, not even the meat and potatoes. This might inspire a rant or two, but excuse my hair. Angel Reese. The one thing I will say is that all the racist, misogynistic idiots are starting to really come out. Here's the thing. I'm going to sit here and say that she got emotional over recounting the various traumatic things that she's gone through since winning the national championship. And that being that was her last game at LSU. Not because she can't handle losing. She's a big girl. She can handle her own. And people are saying she did this to herself because she's an irritant on the court. These girls are friends off the court. What do y'all think y'all are getting at? Y'all are just reaching at stupid straws to find any type of reason to hate her. And just because she posts a bikini pic should not subject her to AI generated adult images of her being produced and shared. Let's stop the BS right now. Let's stop the bull. That is harassment, and that is traumatizing. Waking up on social media, seeing some weirdo pervert ass man decided to type something in Bing and share that shit to the world. You know how damn traumatizing that is? That would bring out emotions in me, and I've been through some shit. Excuse my language. Let's cut this out. C3, whatever you want to do. Just because she doesn't post her death threats does not mean she doesn't receive them. This is exactly why a lot of women don't speak up on the serious situations that they go through, because sometimes they do get attacked. They get told that they're lying. Nobody believes them. Did we not see the letter, the evil ass, racist ass letter that DJ Burns received? And did you hear that somebody from one of the girls from UConn had to delete her social media because she was receiving death threats and hate in her DMs because of that, because of what happened? It happens. So why are we invalidating Angel Reese's experience, sis, as she's a loser and she's just being a sore loser and da 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 da? No, 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 no. Don't discredit people's experience because of y'all's backwards ass prejudices against her for whatever stupid ass reason that you have. Period. I'm tired of seeing it. And then you get the clowns like Emmanuel Acho over here comparing her to Courage the Cowardly Dog. If you are as smart as you really think that you are, if you portray to us that you like to, that you're just the smartest thing in the world, how you enunciate your words and whatnot, why do you have the emotional intelligence of a reject? Or of a net? Whichever one you want. Whichever one you want. Like, come on. You're talking like you're smarter than everybody. But if you watch what she really said, you could see that she got emotional over the stuff that she was going through, not because she damn lost. You trust that man, and people like him try so hard to be different that they make themselves look like clowns. Courage the Cowardly Dog. She had the courage to speak out on her experiences. And this is what she got. It's very sad and disheartening that there's grown-ass men on national television comparing somebody to Courage the Cowardly Dog because she got emotional recounting her experiences since she won a national championship. But they wanted to twist what she said, and they know the meaning that she said it, because if you got any other sore loser mentality of she's blaming all of that because she lost, then you're just trying to create something out of thin air. You're pulling strings out of your own ass here. How can you and others like you willingly misconstrue her statement this bad? Anybody, almost anybody experiencing that type of stuff would be emotional bringing it up. No matter the circumstances. That's just my take on it. I'm gonna leave it alone, but that's just my take on it. Milwaukee, we'll get into them Bucks and their struggles. And the way that I've seen Milwaukee play, it is time to be concerned. They are on a 3 to 4 game losing streak. They are 4-6 in their last 10 games. They have bad losses to the Grizzlies, the Wizards, and the Raptors. Horrible teams for various different reasons. There's an obvious disconnect when I feel like there's a disconnect between the coaching and the players. This might be another Doc Rivers special in the making. They are 15-17 under Doc Rivers for whatever reason. And I don't even think it's all his fault. He can't help that the team that he was brought in to coach in the middle of the season is old and slow, and they're slew-footed. As of right now, they are a first-round exit. I want everybody to be very clear about that. They are a first-round exit. Especially if the 76ers get it together. Continue to get it together. This team has a plethora of issues. Let's just go by the list. Okay. Outside the main six, the production from the bench and your depth players is pretty much minimal. Jay Crowder averages 23.1 minutes per game. For what? For what? And 6.3 points per game. That is not conducive to winning basketball championships. You damn sure it is not conducive to winning championships. It's not conducive to winning basketball, and it's not conducive to winning championships. Outside of Giannis, and maybe a few others. Even though Giannis is getting there too. Remember, he's not a spring chicken. He's 29, but he's still more athletic than half the team, most of the team, all of the team. The 11 of the Bucks players are 30 plus, and there are teams that will give an old, unathletic squad like this a real run for his money. All you got to do is speed him up and make your shots. And here's the thing, they've been on a gradual downward spiral. I'm not kidding. The stats show it. The highlights show it. I know what I'm talking about. They've been on a downward spiral. Since December, the average points per game has plummeted. December 2023, excuse me. They averaged 131 points per game. March of 2024, they're averaging 114.9 points per game. They've also decreased in free throws since December 2023. They were averaging 22.2 free throws made and 27.8 free throws attempted. As of March 2024, they're averaging 17 free throws made and 21 attempted. Their shooting has gone down. Their ability to score has gone down for whatever reason. The shooting efficiency has gone down since December. If you want, y'all can go look at the splits. I wish I had a screen up to show you, but I got the notes. I got the notes. They stopped rebounding as well offensively again since December 2023. They had averaged 10.7 offensive rebounds per game. March 2024, they averaged 8.9 offensive rebounds points per game. You do not want to backslide into the playoffs. They cannot hold a lead at all, which is very concerning. Like the Memphis game. They had a big lead and they lost that game. Come playoff time, younger athletic teams are going to push this team to the limit. A decrease in ball movement is also going to become a very big issue. You can lock this team up, especially when they start playing like they don't want to be there and they're disengaged. They're not listening to anything Doc Rivers has to say. I have seen that happen. And stop somebody from getting in the paint. So let's take it all let's bring it together. You're large, old, and relatively unathletic. That too. But let's bring it all together with the ingredients for a first round exit. Backsliding into the playoffs. That's momentum. Strong reliance on iso ball. People study you. This is not just going to be a game. The playoffs is a series. People are going to study your tendencies, and they're going to plot and scheme to combat that. Iso ball is not going to work all the time in the playoffs. Clear mismatches, bench and depth issues, no continuity, no sense of consistent direction, the inability to hold a lead because it's the playoffs. The energies is going to be intense. You're going to have to be able to either outscore somebody or hold defense. And the fact that this is a team that was in the championship, that won a championship not too long ago with the top-ranked defense, or one of the top-ranked defenses, about 2 years ago, and then you started firing and going through the coaching carousel for no goddamn reason. This team needs a miracle to turn it around on the fly, because we're at the end of the season and they're losing on a skid. Giannis, Dame, and Brooke, maybe Brooke, can't do everything themselves. And it's not like they have the coach that's going to give them a bone. Anyway, from one team to my team, the Lakers. Let's talk about Lakers. They're on a 5-game winning streak because I think they won a game last night. Yeah, they did. 10-1 in the last 10, in the last 11. They actually have a better chance of going on a run now based off of how they've been playing. However, I do not want to get people. I'm not trying to be a delusional Laker fan. I know the West is stacked. And right now, I looked at the standings this morning. Denver's 1, Minnesota's 2. We're the 8 seed. If somebody would like to kind of, if we get it, if we win the play-in game and get into the playoff game, we would get Minnesota. That's a favorable matchup. I like my chances against Minnesota. I don't think they're very disciplined. I don't trust Rudy Gobert. And I don't know about Cat. I really don't like Karl-Anthony Towns. But yeah, the whole thing about the Western Conference is everything will depend on matchups. Like, especially with the playing picture. Now, here's several key factors for my Lakers that I think either is going to work in our favor. Anthony Davis has been playing lights out damn near all season. And for the most part, he's stayed on the court. Y'all can stop calling them street clothes now. They are actually playing to their strengths and actually playing team basketball instead of doing this whole I'm just going to defer to LeBron James thing. That was not conducive to winning consistent basketball games. D'Angelo Russell, I don't know what has gotten into him since the trade deadline. I guess the word trade scared his ass straight because he's playing pretty well since. Other role players. Reeves, Hachimura, even though he had a down night last night, and the others are starting to kick it up. Dinwiddie net. This team is starting to gain a little bit of confidence. Give this team with LeBron and Anthony Davis and those pieces some confidence. That can be dangerous as well. However, I do have some things that I have concerns with my Lakers. Excuse me. Is that outside of Anthony Davis, the defense needs to improve and quickly. They do have a legit chance to make a run. But once again, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. We got to get out the play-in, and we have to have favorable matchups. That's what's going to determine the Western Conference this year. Like, if we get Denver the first round, we could be. Yeah. Because I really don't think we're beating Denver. If we get Minnesota, Oklahoma City, we have a chance. We do have a fighting chance. Now, I did just get all the basketball stuff out the way, minus the Stefon Diggs bit earlier. I gotta do better about organizing my shows, but it is what it is. We're gonna talk about the whole AFC South rejuvenation arc and what's my opinions on it. And I feel like all the teams except for one made very good moves that could change things up as far as the future of the division. We all know who that one team is. I'm not going to mention them right now. Let's get straight into this. And I feel like this division will definitely be if not one of the most improved divisions in football last year. Because it stunk last year. Sincerely, a Titans fan. Anyway, let's talk about the division winning Houston Texans and what they've done. They've lost some pieces, but the pieces they've gotten back, what they have done, what type of wizardry Nick Caserio is over there in Houston cooking. No, he's over there casting spells and whatnot. Rand is cooking. That's my GM thing. Can't give it to him. But Cesario's doing a good job. He's letting the dysfunctional phase stay in the past. Notable additions. They traded for Stefon Diggs. They traded for Joe Mixon. They acquired Nico Autry in free agency. They acquired Daniil Hunter in free agency. They got Azeez Al-Shaair. Why did y'all have to take half my goddamn defense? But they wanted to go there. I'm not mad at them. I would have been pissed if they would have went to the Jaguars. But that's that. Or the horseshoe people. They went and got Jeff Okuda. They kept some key people. They kept Dalton Schultz. Yeah, that's one of the more important ones. They've re-signed, I believe, some of their linemen. So they are getting primed. They are here for the next 3 to 5 years. I promise you that. At least. I'm not going to go there in 6 and 7. But for the very near future, they are here. They've made moves. This is what you do when you have a rookie quarterback. You build around him while he's cheap, and then you go for it. And because when it's time to pay him, it might get a little harder. I know. Next, we're going to talk about the Jaguars. I believe that this year is going to be a very big year for two specific people. Doug Peterson, who may or may not find himself on the hot seat this year, and Trevor Lawrence. He has a payday looming, or he may find himself up out of there too. Who knows what the Jaguars are thinking. But I feel like this is going to be a boomer bust year for Trevor Lawrence. Maybe people are starting to see what I've been seeing, which is overrated. Yeah, I said it. I don't know for the life of me why they look so good at certain times of the season, but at the end of the season, they can never put it together. And I hope they never do. They did have some notable additions. They added Gabe Davis, free agency. They added Devin Duvernay. They traded with the Patriots to acquire Mac Jones. Now, that is interesting. That's very interesting. Because if Trevor Lawrence is going into this year with a payday coming over his head, and then you trade for Mac Jones, some people will see where I'm going with that, but I'll explain that theory. It's just like a little random thought in my head. Because if for whatever reason the Jaguars think that Trevor Lawrence isn't cutting it, they'll have Mac for backup. They better be able to develop Mac or try to fix him. And Doug Peterson is definitely on the hot seat. But they had Mac Jones. They added Eric Armstead from the 49ers and via free agency. They added Darnell Savage. They added Ronald Darby, who are very pretty. He different, Key retentions. Just so I'm not just looking up and down everywhere. If you see me looking here, I'm looking at my paper. Josh Allen, they franchise tagged him. They got Foye Ololokun under a contract. They signed a running back under a contract. I don't watch the Jaguars. And they did have some very notable departures, though. Calvin Ridley, who's now with my Titans. They lost a defensive tackle named Foley Fatukasi. Did I pronounce that right? From the Texans. He's now with the Texans. They lost cornerback Darius Williams, who is now with the Rams. And they lost Clavon Chaisson, who is with the Panthers. There's a little turnaround there. But here's the thing. Like I said earlier, if the Jaguars don't figure out how to stop collapsing at the end of the seasons, jobs are on the line here. There is room for improvement on all phases of the team. This is probably going to be a very telling year for the franchise's direction. For the direction of the franchise and for the direction of Trevor Lawrence. That's what I was trying to say. It is a very fragile situation in the making, I believe. Now, Let's get back to my team. My Tennessee Titans, and then the last team. And then we'll do my little NBA pretenders or contenders, and I'll do my little brief explanations. I shouldn't be here too much longer. For the Tennessee Titans, I know the future starts now. Big changes were needed to really be made in order for this team to actually progress in a positive manner. So, here are some notable changes, some departures. We had a change on head coach. We had a change in head coach. We went from Mike Vrabel to Brian Callahan. We went from Tim Kelly as OC to Lou Holtz at offensive coordinator. But once again, Brian Callahan will be calling plays. Defensive coordinator went from Shane Bowen to Denard Wilson, which I believe will be a sneaky good move, considering that he was with the Ravens, and you know what he had the Ravens secondary and company looking like. He was their secondary coach, but all the Ravens love him. They played for him. Now, I had some notable departures, like free agencies and no trades, but free agency. Derrick Henry, he's a Raven now. But I am a Derrick Henry girl. I won't be buying a Ravens jersey with his number on it. Of course not. But I will still watch. Danico Autry, he's with the Texans now. Azeez Al-Shaair is with the Texans now. Sean Bunting is with the Cardinals now. Ryan Tannehill is still a free agent. Aaron Brewer got a 3-year deal from the Dolphins. Chris Moore is with the Cardinals now, and Christian Fulton is with the Chargers. Now, here are some of the additions that kind of offset some of those departures to me. We went and got Calvin Ridley, free agency. He went and got a center, Lloyd Cushenberry. Very good. He was a pretty good center for Denver, free agency. Got Tony Pollard in free agency. We went and got Awuzie, the cornerback from the Bengals last year, in free agency. Sadiq Charles, the offensive lineman, free agency. And most of these players, if they're literally really injury risk, they only have a 1-year deal. Prove it. And then we traded for L'Jarius Sneed, and we gave him the bag. Calvin really got the bag. Tony Pollard, he's here for about 3 years. We've pretty much pieced this team together. Now, peculiar things about this roster that I want people to kind of realize that maybe sneakily, because the Tennessee Titans are more of a small market team and people don't be paying attention to them because they spread stupid ass bits of misinformation everywhere. That's not a shot. That is not a shot, but still. Just think about these points. I'm not going to say too much of what I think. There's something that I want you to think about. The duo of Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears. Okay. The dynamic of DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley. If you pair up Sebastian Joseph Day, we went and got him for free agency too. He's from free agency too. Excuse me. He was with the Chargers. He's pretty good. He's a starter. And you put him on the other side of Jeffrey Simmons and watch him work. Having Jeffrey Simmons there will probably elevate his level of play a little bit. That's the type of player Jeff is, but you know what is. And then you can't forget about Treylon Burks and Kyle Phillips, even though Treylon Burks is on the prove it deal with me because I'm about tired of him not seeing the field. For whatever reason. We still have the 7th pick in the draft. And I feel like if Joe Alt is available, get him. If not, next best lineman. This team is setting Will Levis up for success. And the one thing I wanted to talk about the GM, Rand Carthen, who's the GM, vice president of player personnel or something like that as well. I don't know why they did that. Yeah, sorry. But he got promoted. He was a GM last year, but he got promoted to the VP or whatever of that other title after his first year. He was working towards being collaborative, trying to work towards building this team up to being progressive on the offensive side as well as the defensive side. Probably why Vrabel gotta go. Had to go. Because they were butting heads quite a bit. I'm not even gonna lie. It had nothing to do with what Vrabel said at his red jacket ceremony with the Patriots. Stop accusing Amy Adams Strunk of being emotional when firing Vrabel, because that was not the case. Just had to get that out. They drafted pretty well last year. Y'all gotta give this man a chance. It's been 2 draft classes. You've gotten some quality players. Last year fell apart at the seams because stubbornness. He can focus on building the team the way it should be built. And it won't be the worst regarding remaining competitive. Especially with, I know the coaching turning over is going to be the same. The coaching turnover might affect it. But they like Will Levis. Will Levis is the guy. They're working around Levis. They're building around Levis. Brian Callahan is very smart. I trust that this team is going to do the right thing. Now, give Rand a chance. I don't know. I really don't want to start trying to put other factors into it, but I don't know what the hoopla is about. I don't know, and he stinks. He's been there 2 years. You couldn't do much better. Titans fans. This is why I think some Titans fans are very annoying. Because you couldn't do much better, but you're talking about this man stink. But he's picked up some pretty big bomb pieces, and he's drafted pretty well so far. Like, shut the hell up. Over it. Now, the last team I'm going to talk about, and I'm going on 40 minutes, but, the Indianapolis Colts. And here's the thing. I don't have a whole lot to say about the Colts. So this will probably be very quick. Because Jerry Jones and Jim Irsay are pretty much having a do-nothing off. Or keep everybody in-house while the division makes moves off. Whichever one you want to call it. They're not doing much of anything. They've lost Gardner Minshew. They've lost Zach Moss, Isaiah McKenzie, Tony Brown. They've kept pretty much everybody they wanted to keep, giving them extensions. They've added Joe Flacco and Raekwon Davis, who's a very decent player. I will give them that with Raekwon. But Flacco, you're gonna replace Gardner Minshew with Joe Flacco. Excuse me? Anyway, this division as a whole, 3 of the 4 teams got a whole lot better. This team stuck with the same old routine. And I would not bet that they would be last. Anyway, before I get up out of here, I will say that I thought I was going to do the contenders and pretenders, but when I do that, I think I'm going to do a brief explanation, and I'm not really ready for that for each team that I put and why they put there. So just stay tuned for another video with the contenders and pretenders that may be out very soon. But yeah, if you liked what you heard, feel free to follow me on social media. You can follow me on Twitter at Jori Stories, JorisStories. You can follow me on Facebook at Jori Sports Stories. Subscribe here on YouTube. You can follow me on Instagram at JDS_sports stories and everywhere else. But I'm gonna get up out of here. Y'all have a very blessed week. Stay safe. Stay grounded. Well, not blessed week. Blessed day. Because I'll probably be back before the week. I'll probably have some more videos out before the week. But y'all have a blessed day. Stay safe. Stay grounded. And until next time, I'll see you then.